Hello and welcome to the first episode of the series on how to create a chess game with ReactJS. In this series we are going to try to make a chess game that works. And if it is working at the end of the series, we might even try to create a desktop application from it with the help of Electron. Let's get started right away. So to get started, I've opened up the command line in the folder where I want to create the project. So we start off by writing npx create react app. We are going to write the name the project, which will be chess game or chess app actually. And then let's see, we are going to pass in a template, which will be TypeScript, since we will use TypeScript for our project. So I'll be back when this is finished. So now that the installation has finished, we are going to cd into our directory, and I'm going to open it up in my Visual Studio Code editor. And you can do the same if you'd like to, or you can use your own code editor. So I've opened up the code editor, and now I'm going to open up the terminal and run npm run start. So we start the development server. Okay, nice. So we've started it up on localhost 3000. As you can see, it's running right here in the browser. And I'm going to open it up right here. So for the project, we are going to use chess pieces. You can see right here. I've found this Wikimedia page where we can find all the chess assets, which we'll be using in this project. So I've already downloaded those. And if you'd like to follow along, you can download the assets from the GitHub repository where this project is, or just from this website right here. I'll put the link in the description. So let's get started with adding the assets to our project. So in our source folder, we are going to create a new assets folder. And in our assets, we are going to create a new images folder. And I have already put the chess images in this folder. We're just going to copy them over into the images right here. And as you can see, every file is now loaded in. We have the bishops, kings, the knights, pawns, the queens, and the rooks. And we can get started with creating the board actually. So to start off, we see the board in front of us. It is a big square with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 by 8 is 64 tiles. And at the bottom right, we always have a white square, and at the top left, also a white square. And then it's just a checker pattern. So let's see how we are going to create this. So okay, I've thought it through a little bit, and first thing that we are going to do is we are going to remove the default page. So let's go to our app.tsx. We are also going to remove the testing page, by the way. We don't do tests, everything works immediately. And here we have our chess board, or checkers, no chess. And we remove the class name from here. We don't need the logo anymore. And I think this is it. And if we save this up, it will compile, and we have a blank page with the chess. Okay, nice. So let's see. What I think that we want to do is we want to create a component for the chessboard, since we might want to reuse that. So we're going to create components, and inside here we are going to create a chessboard.tsx component, and also a chessboard CSS file. Import React from React, export default function chessboard, and then return a div which says hello. So, and I actually don't know if chessboard is one word or two words. It's one word, okay. So let's see. We also need to import our styling. So chessboard, yes. Then we want to import it from our current location, like so. And then we want to render our component. So we are going to name this hello, I am the chessboard, and we are going to import it in our app.css, or sorry, in our app.tsx, and we're going to say we want to render a chessboard. So, and then as you can see, we see the hello, I am the chessboard. That is what we wrote right here. If we type a couple more exclamation marks, we'll see that it is updating. Yes, nice. Okay. So Now that we have a separate component for the chessboard, we are going to look into how we are going to create the board. So I've looked a bit at the board, and I've also looked at it online, and I see that the chessboard has two axes, a horizontal axis and a vertical axis. And the horizontal axis uses the letters A till H, and the vertical 1 to 8. So I think the most practical thing to do is we create two for loops, and then we just render the tiles in those for loops. So let's see. What we are first going to do is we're going to create a constant right here. So we are going to say const and then horizontal axis. And then we want to pass in the values of the axis. So let's see. Okay, it was just the numbers or the letters. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H, like so. And then we have our vertical axis. We don't really need an array for this, but maybe we want to change it later, or maybe chess gets updated and a new array appears. Who knows? Other names. So it's always good to have it in a separate array. So now we have our two axes, and we want to render them on the screen. So let's see. We have our div. We are going to give this an ID of chessboard. We are also going to say that we want to target chessboard right here. And let's see the chessboard. Let's give it the background color of black. Well, actually, I like this green color. Let's pick this color, like so. But obviously, we don't see it because it is not defined as a width and a height. So we're going to give it a width of 500 pixels and a height of 500 pixels. Okay, nice. And now we want to center it in the page. So this is what we do in the app.tsx, and we are actually going to give it the just an ID of app, and then right here, oh, we still have a lot. We are going to say that we want a display, oh wait, display of grid, and then we want to use put items or content, something with content, I think. Place content, yes. Place content and then center. And then if we refresh, okay, nothing will happen. That is because the app is not covering the whole page. So let's see the, yes, it only has a width of the page, and the height still needs to be a 100 view height. Like so. Okay, so we need to add a height of 100 view height, like so. But I don't really see it getting inside the center. And the div width, oh, we need to make, okay, so I see. This is a ID, so it needs to be a hashtag. Yes, okay. So now it is being placed in the center. Okay, all good, nice. And actually, let's just take this background color as well while we're at it. Background color, like so. Yeah, okay, nice. I don't know how wide this is though. Can we see that? 801 pixels. Okay. Let's see. 801 pixels. 801 pixels. So, and now we almost have an exact copy of the page. But what we want to do now is we want to create the tiles. So right now it is just one big background color, and we want to render our axis on the in the background. So we're going to create a for each loop. So let's see how we do that in React. So one way to do this is we create a constant right here, or a let actually. Let board equals an array, and then in this array we write, or well, in this array we define the board then by saying for let I equals 0, I smaller than horizontal axis dot length I plus plus, and then for let j equals 0, j is smaller than vertical axis dot length j plus plus, like so. So now we have our two for loops, and then we just simply say board.push, and then we add a new span to it, which will render the let's see, can we write a string right here? So how do we write a number? Like so, okay. So then we say horizontal, or yes, horizontal, and then let's see, we write horizontal axis I, so, and then vertical axis J, like so. And I'm actually going to remove the vertical and the horizontal, like so. And then we want to render our board, so I think we can just say board, oh, like so. I'm curious what's gonna happen. Okay, so we have A1, A2, A3, A4, but we have an A0, I think, or is that not correct? I equals 0, horizontal axis I, J. So why do we have an A right here? And we have an 8 also. An 8 without anything. So let's see. Okay, so I found out what the problem was. Turns out there wasn't a problem. So as you can see, the first item, I've put a console log right here. The first item is A1, and as you can see, it is actually A1. So it's not 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, 6A, 7A, 8B. It is A1, A2, A3. So I just read it wrong. So it's just working. So let's go. Okay. Now that we have our numbers, we want to actually put them in the right order. So top left should be 8, or wait, let me correct this. A 8, this B8, C8, D8, E8. Yes, so in the top is the 8 and in the bottom is the 1. So let's see, top 8, bottom 1. We're going to render from top left to bottom right, so we start with the 8. So we go the opposite direction in the vertical axis. I'm going to create numbers from this again, I think. Well, maybe we want to actually use strings for this, since it are labels. So let's see, we want to start from top to bottom. So we start from the end of the array with 8. So in the vertical axis, we are going to start not with j equals 1, but j equals vertical axis dot length minus 1. Well, it's bigger or equal than 0, then we say j minus minus. So let's try this out. We have at the top left 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Okay, so it's really good. The only thing we need to fix, I think, is now we're rendering from top left to bottom left, and want to render from top left to top right, then the second row. Well, actually, it doesn't really matter. We can just render from, or does it? Actually, no, yes, because the array is pushing them from left to right, and then the next row and the next row. So we first need to go through the 8th row, and as you can see, we are not going to the 8th row, to the 8th row, but through the A row. And that is actually the row we are, well, not going to end with, but yeah, we are going to start with the number 8, so we need to swap those two axes. So let's start with doing that. And I hope by swapping them, yes, now we get all the 8 things. So A8, B8, C8, D8, yes, and then 7. Okay, so I think this is correct. We have A8, B8, C8, A8, B8, C8. Okay, nice. So first thing I'm going to do is make this a lot clearer by just adding brackets to this. So now we can see which group. Yes, okay, so this is a lot more clear. So now that we have everything in the right order, we want to, instead of return a span, we want to return a div, I think. And before we're going to do that, I think we are going to create a board of 800 by 800, so it fits a little bit better, I think. So then we can give our span a width of 50 pixels. So I'm just going to do this inline, width of 50 pixels. And it doesn't seem to like this. So let's see. We have our style. Style is not assignable to type. CSS properties are undefined. Okay, so it doesn't like inline style. Oh, we can't add style to a span. Is that it? I think that's the problem. Let's make a div out of it and then add style. No? Type string is not. Okay. Well, we're just going to make a class name for it. We're going to do it the proper way anyways. So we're going to name it tile. And a tile is going to live inside the chessboard. So right here we have our chessboard. And then we have our tile class. Then we want to give it a width of, let's see, we have 800 in a width. And then we have 8 tiles. So 800 divided by 8 is 100 pixels. And then a height of 100 pixels. And as you can see, they are not displaying correctly. They are actually displaying underneath each other. So we're going to fix that with a little bit of flex. But actually a grid might be even better. Well, we're going to go with flex. So we have our chessboard. We're going to say display flex. And right now they are all stacking up. So we are going to say flex wrap. Yes, and now we have our flex grid ready to go. We could have also done this with a grid instead of a display flex, but yeah, I think flex is fine. We might redo it with grid actually. It looks a lot cleaner because it is a grid. So we are going to replace the flex with a grid. I think it just is a lot more fitting because we are actually working with a grid. So we are going to change this to display grid, and then we are going to define a grid. We're going to say grid template columns, and then we want to define the size of our columns. So we are going to get 8 columns, so 1, 2, 3, 4 till 8. So we want to repeat this 8 times, and each column gets to have 100 pixels, like so. And then we want to do the same for the height. So grid template rows, repeat 800 pixels. And if we now open up our HTML editor, we see that it is exactly the same, but now it is a grid item, which is a lot more fitting in this situation, I think. So, congratulations, we have created a grid. So let's finish this off by creating a grid which has 2 colors. So, as you can see right here, it's a checkerboard, or a chessboard, sorry, but it has a checker pattern. We don't have that yet, so let's implement that. At the moment everything is green. We want to also create a white tile. I already copied the color, and the best way to do this is, I think, to create a separate class for it. So we have tile, we have the black tile, and we have the white tile, like so. Dot tile, white tile. The white tile gets to have this background color, and the black tile is going to get this background color, like so. And then we are going to add a different background color for our chessboard. We are going to give this a background color of blue, or go with blue. And if we refresh the page, we'll see our blue background color. Nice. So as you can see, it is not green anymore because we removed the green background color from the chessboard, and we don't have any tile with the class black tile or white tile. So those are not being activated. So we need to programmatically add them right here, just like we do with the normal tile. If we add tile black or black tile, nothing will happen. Is it black tile? It's black tile, right? Did I save it? Oh, okay, so it was just loading. So now everything is black, but we want to, yeah, depending on the position of the tile, we want to change the color. So I'm just going to open up the whiteboard so we can draw out our ideas a little bit better. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is a lot smaller board, but let's try this out. The one tile is dark, so let's see, we pick a different color for that. This one. And then we have a light square, and then we have a dark square, and then again a light square. On the second row, it starts with a light square, then we get a dark square, then a light square, and then like so, I think. And then for the light squares, we pick. Oh, this is going to be confusing. Pick a green color. Okay, so let's see. I've changed the A, B, C, D, E with 1, 2, 3, 4. So maybe we can, like, if you add those two, 1 and 1 equals 2, it's even, it's light. 2 and 1 is 3, it's uneven, it's dark. Sorry, 1 and 1 even equals 2 even is white. Is dark, sorry. 2 and 1 is 3, it's light. 3 and 1 is even is dark. 4 and 1 is uneven, and uneven is light. 1 and 2 is uneven is light. Yeah, okay, nice. So based on the position, all even numbers of the board are going to be light. So sorry, all even numbers on the board are going to be dark. So at the bottom left we have 1, 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 is even, is dark. This one is 2, 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 is uneven, so it's light. So that way we're going to calculate whether we are going to add the light or the dark class to it. So we can simply do this by adding up our two indexes, which will be the j and I. And we're going to add the number, which is j plus I. And we're going to add plus 2, since they start at 0. So the indexes start at 0. But we want to start at 1. So we need to add one number for this variable and one number for this. And 1 and 1 equals 2. So that's where this 2 is coming from. So now we have our number, and then we want to check if the number is divisible by 2 or if it is even. So if it is divisible or number modulus 2 equals 0, so if it has no remainder, we want to render, let's see, the dark tile, and else we want to render the light tile. So right here we are going to push the dark tile, and otherwise we are going to render the light tile, like so. And I hope this works. Ooh, we almost got it. Okay, so if it is even, we want to push the light tile. No, we want to push the dark tile. Okay, so I still messed it up, but I don't know how. It's probably my thinking is not that good. But we got our checkerboard, so I mean that's really good. We still have our text right here. We can actually just get rid of that, like so. This one. And if we save this up, it will load again, and we will see our checkerboard appearing. Okay, nice. Damn. So this looks really good. I'm going to finish off the first episode right here. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you could follow along. Leave a like down below, comment, subscribe, and see you in the next episode. Bye.